Shaker Heights resident Clay Herrick remembers, "I think the high point of my years in Shaker Heights were when the Historical Society acquired a permanent home. I was president in 1971 when Frank Myers donated his house at 16740 South Park as a museum. We had a place at last for our collections and exhibits, and the location is so appropriate. The house is built on the land where the North Union Shakers had their apple orchard." In a community of giving, the Myers family gift outdid the rest when they donated their historical home to the Shaker Historical Museum, providing the society a permanent home and enduring existence. The museum lies in the heart of Shaker history. From 1822 to 1889, the Myers property served as a large apple orchard for the Center family, a sect of the North Union Shakers. Their original apple trees still reside in the backyard of the Shaker Historical Museum. Across the street from the mansion is the dam the Shakers built from the Dome Brook for their mills. To the west of the museum stands Jacob Russell's grave, the founder of the Shaker settlement. The Myers house was built in 1910 as one of the first houses built in Shaker Heights. The Van Swearingen brothers had previously bought the North Union Shaker lands, and the brothers were looking for a real estate salesman to sell their property for homes. Louis Myers, his wife Blanche, and their children moved to the area in 1907 from Buffalo to assume the role and became a chief partner with Oris Paxson and Mantis James Van Swearingen. The Myers family were integral parts of the Shaker village from its founding, promoting the Van Swearingen's architectural integrity and vision for Shaker Heights. Louis and Blanche's son, Frank Myers, would become the most active in the community, however. Frank was instrumental in the Clark Freeway fight, an Ohio government project that threatened to build a highway through Shaker Heights and its historic sites. Frank Myers had grown up in the Shaker Village, went to the Shaker Village School, and was fascinated with its history. He gladly took up the fight to protect the city. Frank sent and paid for over 6,000 pieces of information about the Clark Freeway fight to institutions, people of importance, and Shaker residents. Frank Myers and his family organized a vigorous letter-writing campaign that resulted in Ohio's scrapping of the project due to the overwhelming opposition. Frank Myers also had a large role on the Shaker Historical Society's board that was growing steadily since its founding in 1947. Mrs. Elizabeth Nord, the first director of the museum, chief librarian and curator for the Shaker Historical Society, as well as one of the charter members of the organization, stated in 1965 annual meeting that the museum's collection was growing steadily. This was much due to the Women's Committee, who took up the task of collecting items from Shaker residents and finding significant artifacts from Shaker antique shows. The museum was growing so rapidly that it grew out of the small Moreland School classroom, where the museum originally was situated after the Society's founding in 1947. Soon, the museum relocated to Boulevard School. Before long, the Shaker Historical Society was asked to leave their classroom in Boulevard School also, where they kept their collections and exhibits in the late 1960s. However, as the school-age population was rising in Shaker Heights, and the use of more classrooms was in high demand, the Shaker Historical Society space was needed for instruction. In light of this, the museum's charter members sought other options for locations. They considered several homes in Shaker, a building commissioned by Shaker Heights city government, or even using the old canoe club on Lower Lake, but none worked out. Eventually, the members of the society had two options: to merge with the Western Reserve Historical Society, ending the group's community efforts, or disband completely. Frank Myers came to the rescue of the organization. Previously, his father Louis had passed away and left his home in the hands of his son Frank. Frank immediately decided to grant the Myers home to the Shaker Historical Society, as he couldn't imagine a Shaker Heights without it, and thought it deserved a proper home. He often stated the importance of the Shaker community as the only community in the country to have previously been a Shaker settlement and still carry the name. He believed it was vital to have a museum to commemorate this fact. However, this was easier said than done. Many community members were worried about whether an organization should be in a residential area that is zoned for single-family dwellings. 2 neighbors in South Woodland were reportedly very angry. The Cleveland Plain Dealer quotes the museum's argument: "Schools, police and fire stations, libraries, public parks and playgrounds are permitted in single-family districts. We strongly urge the Mayor and Council of Shaker Heights to follow the lead of other Ohio cities." To encourage the city government to allow the museum's use of the Myers property and show the society's members their hopeful new location, Frank Myers took them on a guided tour of the house and the grounds. This infamous tour convinced many that the museum's location was perfect for its mission, and the space was needed. It led City Council and Mayor Paul Jones to rule in the Society's favor and change the area's zoning laws. The museum officially opened to the public in 1971.